In 9 days, I will turn 63. I come from Pittsburgh. I live in Tacoma. In Pittsburgh, they ruined my life in my 20s by making illegal tapes of me for satire in an international community hot wire that was arranged by Mellon Bank, a Japanese pornography company, and the United Nations. The Confederacy of Gail Burston wanted an American sacrifice to the international community took for the greater good. The peers who turned on the tape machines lied about the meaning of what I said, and the rock stars involved did everything they could to torment me with interrogation while refusing to hear what really happened. That's quite a catastrophe. I now have Parkinson's. These same evil people used to complain about things like the Frank Church Committee's MK Ultra revelations and J. Edgar Hoover's wiretapping campaigns against dissent. I was an honest, capable dissenting witness about crime in Pittsburgh. So their protests were a cover for doing the exact thing that they claimed to be protesting. That's a real heads up about Carnegie Mellon University. A real heads up. W. Dialectical is chronically whining about the fact that I look at pornography. It's a military strategy to cover for the fact that I was barbarously chemically castrated. Let me talk to you about a little bit about the process of humiliating somebody by deafening them, chemically castrating them, and giving them Parkinson's. I was, for example, taking a stand for ecology against climate change and for the Hunger Project, and Buckminster Fuller's appeal to stop poisoning the environment before it reaches what he called chemical irretrievability. When Greta Thunberg took that position, I reached out to her, and she ignored me and trotted over to Barack Obama, the man whose wazzle dazzle team from Geffen Records chemically castrated me as a symbol of the naval fleet from the Pacific War to pleasure Yoko Ono. That's a lot, and it's a burden, and it's a humiliation. They raped my deaf advocate, another humiliation. They murdered some of my people who I loved, like Cersei Kennedy. That's another humiliation. Behind this all, they croak Donald Trump. He's avenging John Lennon, who they pinned the tail on the donkey. I'm to blame for. And as long as it doesn't matter that my evidence shows John Lennon pulled a Houdini. As long as the media weapon is around, as long as Joe Biden is in power, as long as RFK feels he has a chance at the presidency, there will be nobody ever to address the evidence of a Houdini. So instead, they invite me to exonerate myself by denying that I had anything to do with it, while they say, hot, tot, 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 we say you did. And in the meantime, they get a military strategy going of chemically castrating me and then covering it up by saying, oh, look at the zombie doing pornography after 30 years of isolation and 50 years of deafness resulting from a poison that they gave me. Murdering Cersei, tot, 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 could have saved John Lennon. Raping Deaf Genie, tot, 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 could have saved John Lennon. And using me for an AIDS experiment, two Holocaust survivors, two Holocaust experience parks. Let me describe the first one. Wattenmaker, whose father was an Attica State Prison warden, who made the poison, as you can see from the documents, that left me neurohypnotized, barely surviving, and which resembles the neurohypnosis that they used on another victim in a car bombing incident in Ohio that I'm trying to get appealed. Rodemaker wanted to see The Blind Dead, which was a Portuguese Spanish horror movie where they showed the Ankh and stuff, the sort of symbols that King Crimson is so fond of. And they were advertising by saying they would give every customer a vomit bag. Well, they were out of vomit bags. But no sooner did this happen, I was brutally attacked, and these men, quarrymen called pitmen, dipped a rag in paint, then I put it in a lunch bag, forced me to hold it over my mouth and breathe it. I was just a child. I was a picky eater, my mother called me. I couldn't stand carbonated beverages a piece because they were too strong. The puff of my father's cigar knocked me over. But Penis, Jay Sinfield, and Peter Gabriel say I wanted to be tortured and gassed. And so they get to chemically castrate me over a girl who was still a virgin. This starts pushing the envelope of humiliation into the land of Japanese revenge sagas from the weird. And I note that I did, in fact, write to a Japanese stateswoman here shortly before a letter from Kinokuniya showed up in my mailbox with the boot stamp on it. The letter I wrote to her was in good faith. Well, that's the weird side of what was done to me.